Thank you, Sally. I'm Mike Apps and you're watching South Today. D-Day veterans have left the UK for France to join commemorations marking the 80th anniversary of the Normandy landings. About 25 former servicemen are making the ferry crossing from Portsmouth. Well-wishers watched the spectacle as a flotilla accompanied the ferry from the harbour just after 8 o'clock this morning. James Ingham reports.
Setting sail from Portsmouth on what is likely to be their final visit to France. 24 D-Day veterans, the star passengers on board this ferry, remembering their role in the D-Day operation and those who never came home.
It's a chance of a lifetime. 80 years ago, long time, isn't it? And going back to see what we started, and now we're going back to finish it, I hope.
As their ferry steamed out of the harbour, the veterans were watched by serving sailors, a fleet accompanying their ship. Well, this flotilla of historic vessels and modern-day Navy ships makes quite a spectacle, and it's a moment many people have wanted to share, a chance to wish veterans well on their momentous sailing to Normandy.
Absolutely fantastic, and I wouldn't have missed it for the world.
To think of the veterans, the old guys on the ferry going out, I mean, it's hard to imagine what they must be thinking, but I know what I think. I'm just very grateful.
It was incredible, the tugs with their water cannons at the back, and seeing the plane just now after everyone was leaving, that was incredible. So yeah, it was good.
Some of the veterans were entertained last night at Southwark House, just outside Portsmouth. It was here that Allied commanders made the monumental call to launch D-Day on the 6th of June 1944.
See France, the outline of France, and hear these shells, it made me realise that we were in a war. It wasn't an exercise or rehearsal or training, we were there, and anything can happen. And I was scared.
There are now fewer than 100 British surviving D-Day veterans. For all of them, the commemorations will be moving and emotional, as they remember their part in history and the sacrifices so many made. James Ingham, BBC South Today, Portsmouth.
Now, staying with the 80th anniversary, a new sculpture commemorating the role played by women in D-Day has been dedicated on the banks of the Beaulieu River. More than 100 women from the Women's Royal Naval Service, or WRENS, were stationed at nearby Exbury House during the build-up to D-Day. Bryony Leyland reports.
It's a tranquil scene here on the Beaulieu River. 80 years ago, it would have been a very different picture. The water crammed with vessels and troops headed for the Normandy beaches. And they had been supported by more than 100 WRENS, who were based at Exbury House, which had been renamed HMS Mastodon. Their efforts have been commemorated in this new sculpture, Our Lady of the South. It's the brainchild of Alistair Morrison. Tell us more about why you wanted the sculpture here and what it represents.
It represents the women that were left behind on our shores. Not just the WRENS, as you mentioned, but also the families, the mums, the sisters, the daughters, who were saying goodbye to very young men, 17, 18, 19-year-olds, who were just going to war. And I just wanted something to commemorate that moment when they must have felt awful saying goodbye. So it's called Ave Atque Vale, the Lady of the South, Ave Atque Vale, meaning hail and farewell. So she is constantly waving her white handkerchief to the shores.
And the role that those women, the supporting women, played here at Exbury was really significant, wasn't it?
Huge. As you mentioned, that over 100 WRENS were here. They spent so much time on the administrational side, but also supporting all the forces, and they were planning, and they were here for some time. And it was a hugely significant space. And Exbury and the Beaulieu River and everywhere around here was really the planning spot for the whole of D-Day.
Alistair, thank you very much for telling us all about it, and we'll have more on the history of this site and HMS Mastodon on this evening's South Today.
The South coming together to commemorate D-Day this week. Now, in other news this lunchtime, the man accused of the murder of a woman on Bournemouth seafront last month will stand trial in November. 34-year-old Amy Gray from Poole, on the left in this picture, died after being stabbed close to Durley Chine. A second woman who suffered serious stab wounds was discharged from hospital last week. 20-year-old Nasser Saadi from Croydon appeared at Winchester Crown Court by video link from prison this morning. He's been charged with murder and attempted murder. The trial is due to begin on the 25th of November. The main road in a Surrey village will be closed for 2 weeks so Thames Water can repair pipework that has led to more than 600 homes being unable to drink their tap water. The firm discovered its main supply pipe in Bramney near Guildford had been contaminated by a fuel leak from the local petrol station. It says it will be working 24 hours a day on Station Road and will install acoustic barriers to reduce the noise. Householders are being given bottled water to use for cooking, brushing teeth and washing up. The NHS Trust, which runs East Surrey Hospital, says a technical issue in January resulted in around 30,000 emergency department letters not being transmitted electronically to GPs. It says an immediate solution was implemented and action taken to mitigate the impact on those patients affected. It's after the BBC obtained information from 122 major hospital trusts, where nearly half with electronic recording systems reported a range of IT problems which could impact patient care.
The thing about paper is, when you make a mistake, you make them one at a time. The thing about electronic patient record system is it gives you the opportunity, unfortunately, to make the same mistake thousands of times.
A group from Kharkiv on the front line in the war in Ukraine has been meeting supporters from Berkshire and Wiltshire. Representatives of a charity.
They went to distribute water in one of the frontline villages, and Russians started to fire them. So the situation is day by day becoming more dangerous.
Plans for more than 100 homes at a former naval gunnery site have been approved despite opposition from some living nearby. Portsmouth City Council approved plans to redevelop Fraser Range in Eastney. The plans include 116 flats, 18 houses and parking spaces. Now, a boxing club in Portsmouth is celebrating winning not one, but 6 national titles at various age groups. The young fighters aged between 12 and 22 train at the Heart of Portsmouth Gym in Somerstown under the guidance of Q Shillingford. Between them, they've won 4 national schools championships, 1 junior belt and the national super heavyweight title.
There's an old saying that I stick to, you build a team with the same dream. But we push them hard and they get a lot of training, a lot of sparring as well. But the main thing, the reason why the success of the club is the team. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Alexis has the weather now.
Thank you, Mike. Through the course of today, we've seen a lot of cloud. That cloud will continue to thicken through this afternoon, bringing some outbreaks of rain or some heavy showers for some. And we'll see scenes like this picture taken in Ropley in Hampshire by one of our weather watchers. So for the rest of today, that thickening cloud will bring outbreaks of rain. For the lucky few of us, we'll see a little bit of brightness break through in places through this afternoon. And there will be a brisk breeze gusting along the coast, maybe up to 25 miles per hour. Showers or rain at times. It's 2 cold fronts moving south and eastwards across the region, with highs today potentially up to around 20 degrees. So overnight tonight, those 2 cold fronts will clear south and eastwards. The skies will clear behind, and with light winds, we could see temperatures drop into mid-single figures in some places. So it's a fresh feeling night, certainly a lot fresher than last night with a low of 4 to 5 Celsius. So tomorrow there will be a good deal of sunshine, but there'll also be cloud building during the course of the day. A west to northwesterly breeze, areas of cloud, maybe the odd very isolated shower. But with this ridge of high pressure starting to build in, the winds will fall lighter than today, and so it will be more pleasant. We'll see more in the way of sunshine, feeling pleasantly warm in the sun as well. Although temperatures are a degree or so below their seasonal average through much of this working week, they start to recover as we head towards the weekend. By Sunday, a high of 19 Celsius, into next week, a high of 21 degrees. So a good deal of sunshine each day this week, but there will be some showers dotted about. They will be isolated, perhaps more frequent on Friday. Mike.
Thanks, Alexis. We're back with you at 6:30. Now back to Sally Nugent.